Baboony Tim here, reporting for the quarterfinals of Lucky Grand Prix, and we're doing Nativity. If it's a Baboony Tim channel, you know we're doing Nativity, but we're not doing Herods. It's blasphemy. I know. So what are we doing? Well, we're cooking up the spice. Baboony's in the kitchen. Who let the monkey in the kitchen? Well, the monkey's cooking up some Death of Unrighteous and some Swine Stampede and the Scattered. Like, these are some of the best evil enhancements in the game, and so the idea is the classic drawback to these cards is you actually have to get initiative in battle to play them. But I thought, okay, what if we use the power of the Rabushka and Tubalcain? Both of these cards allow you to go to your reserve to get an evil enhancement or weapon, and you can equip it. So if we go to the reserve, we can go grab the foreign horses and equip it straight onto one of our pale green evil characters. So we can interrupt the battle, draw 2 cards, play an enhancement if they use a draw or search ability, which most attacks they do. So if we block with our pale green evil character, we can just interrupt the battle, draw 2, and play this, and that's the block. What are they going to do? Or if we have a Messenger of Satan, we can go Messenger of Satan, draw cards, ban to the Rabushka or the Tubalcain, and then they play foreign horses, and then you can play Suicidal Swine Stampede. So we basically have 3 really good enhancements to play, and then 2 guys that are really good to block them with. So if we're blocking on turn 2 or turn 3, we're gonna have some really good blocks. We also have the Wicked Lost Soul. In order, if people are playing Soul Protection, you can, in theory, like do a block and then play your Death of Unrighteous, which is regardless of Soul Protect. Or if you're fighting Nativity, you can do Scattered, and it's going to scatter them regardless of their Protect. So that's something there, I suppose. I could see this being Disoriented, and that it's really good. Disoriented is really good in Nativity because you can play a Star Bethlehem and Lost Child Found and get it out that way. As far as other evil characters, we have Queen Taphnes, the new promo card, which is really powerful mill effect. If you can just get this to block turn 1, mill like 8 cards out of their deck, there's a good chance they might lose a bunch of their dominance, but she's not really here for the blocking power. She's here for more just turn 1, I got to do something, and it's not going to be blocking with these guys. Divining Damsel is also a really good turn 1 block. I can draw a bunch of cards by revealing opponent's hand, and she's also really nice because she can play Death of Unrighteous and Swine Stampede, but she's a little bit high in numbers, so if opponent's doing a large banding a chain attack, it's possible I can go Divining Damsel block, and then Deceiver is nice. It can get any of our evil humans. We can get Woman of Thebes, which is like a really good turn 1 chump block, or we can get the Judas. I don't know if you can read that, but it's upside down. He says restrict good dominance may ban to a demon. So Judas is nice. You can go ban to Deceiver, exchange to Queen Taphnes. That's a really good block, or ban to Messenger of Satan into one of these guys. Like, restricting good dominance is really strong. So this defense I built to try and fight all these offenses that are using their good battle doms to win the game. And so that's why I'm having a bunch of ways to interact in battle where if they have dominance, I'm not going to care. So one of the ways what I told you was doing foreign horses to draw 2 cards and play next. And by the time I'm out of battle, the battle's already over. Another way is just restricting dominance. Yeah, so I have Peter's Curse and then Judas to restrict dominance too. I could see Murder's Command coming in here. You got the Malachite Slave, you got the Queen Taphnes, and you got the Foreign Wives in the reserve. So that's enough to do a Murder's Command. But this deck really struggles against characters that are going to give them initiative, like Mary. So like, let's say someone attacks you with a Mary. If you, like, what are you going to do if you block with your Divining Damsel? You know, there's nothing you can really do about that. I'm not playing a bunch of negates or anything. So if they have initiative and they play a battle winner, you just lose on the spot. So Christian Martyrs, I brought that in because I was scared about these lone heroes that are really small, and if I don't have like the Rabushka or something, I'm not going to have a good block against them. So aside from that, it's pretty much stock Nativity list. Brought in this storehouse because there's potential to draw a lot of cards, and I don't want to put down my evil characters, which will get negated or reserved. So I want to be keeping a lot of this stuff in my hand. And so that's the reason I brought in Storehouse, so that I don't have to discard my enhancements down to hand size. I can just put these in my reserve when I need them. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, you got some cheeky blocks with the Madness too. So if the opponent is pushing lone heroes in battle, you have Tubalcain. Tubalcain can go get Madness from your reserve, and Madness can get played. Or you can go into deck if it's turn 1 and activate, go into captivity. And the reason that's good is if opponent isn't playing negate neutrals, you can get rid of their hero in battle, and there's not a lot that they can do. They have to have like a negate a neutral card or negate a card in a territory in order to stop that. Like, interrupt the battle cards don't work. Negate and reserve evil cards don't work. So that's another really good block. All right, so that's a little bit of context about the deck. We're trying something new. We're going up against Josh Potratz. He is a Redemption player known for his explosive plays. So I don't know what he's running, but I'm guessing it's going to be something involving Matthew and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're at 51 cards. I don't know quite what to cut yet, but who needs to cut a card when you're at 51? Okay, so I rolled a 1, he rolled a 6. We'll be going second. We have a defensive hand, so that could help us out. Christian Martyr plus Divining Damsels, not bad. Virgin Birth can help us dig for something more, but I'm glad I didn't really go first. I mean, if I went first, Messianic Messenger can attack and get the Annunciation, which is okay. They're going to play a star ability, which is Scattered Sheep, which will underdeck a hero from my hand. So he gets to get hand knowledge, which is big. Hand knowledge is great, especially because he knows about my Christian Martyr now, and he's playing a gospel. Looks like he's playing some sort of Matthew deck. And Christian Martyr is really good against Matthew decks, usually, unless they play around it. So I really like to go first as Nativity, so you can get that hand information down. Not only if you do that, you can stop the Matthew, you can just stop them from playing around you in weird ways. So the fact that he's going to get some hand information, and he gets to go first and attack me with Matthew is going to be problematic here. I get to go Virgin Birth. So I see some cards. I think I take Woman here, or I don't know what I take. All those other cards aren't going to help me much on defense, but maybe I take the Annunciation to set up for next turn. I also have to be careful if I take like Mary or the Annunciation. That's 2 more cards for him for Matthew. So I could have just maybe taken Son of God to let him draw 1 less card. But basically, I'm hoping that he doesn't attack me with Lazarus somehow, and that I can just go to Woman of Thebes, block, and then not give him anything. Yeah, best case scenario, I'm hoping he doesn't have Resurrection. He's like maybe pushes Matthew, and he doesn't have any like way to ban more people in the battle. That way I can just maybe go like Divine Damsel block, draw a bunch of cards, and Christian Martyr his guy. So we'll see if he draws his Resurrection here. He drew 3 cards off of Denarius, so already we're just playing numbers game now. He gets to look at my hand again. He knows that I'm up to some shenanigans. And if he doesn't know what I have in my hand here, I feel like this game might play out a little differently. All right, so he gets to draw 1, 2, 3 cards. It's not the worst Matthew draw, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. All right, there's a Resurrection. So this is not good for me. He gets to go John, plays John, banned in Lazarus, and what else? Matthias. Okay, so John can draw 2, Lazarus can draw 1, Matthias gets to get a card, and Matthias gets to bounce somebody. Gets to bounce Lazarus so he can use him again. Lovely. Now he's negating neutral cards, or sorry, he's negating evil cards, so now my best blocks of Woman, Divining Damsel, those are all negated. So where's my humble when I need it, right? So I don't have any humbles, so all my stuff's negated. I don't really have any good blocks. The Rabishka doesn't really do anything. These cannot be prevented, but he only does stuff on turn 2 and turn 3. So a little bit unfortunate here. We're just going to have to surrender this soul. And he has 13 cards in hand. Gets to go Ends of the Earth. Gets to add more card advantage. Lovely. So when you're playing a deck like this, I had to choose, do I want to play this defense or do I want to choose to play Herods? And so I love Herods, but I want to try out something new. And so in a situation like this, like Herods, they have a bunch of cannot be prevented stuff. So like Herod Agrippa here to block might have been a really good block. Or like Herod the Great or whatever, or Claudius, or I don't know. Basically, because he's like really negating my enhancements, it's nice to have a way to block with evil characters that don't require enhancements and that cannot be prevented. So yeah, this is going pretty badly so far. He has all the resources he needs. He has a really good turn 1 block with Claudius plus Temple, and he has Deceiver or Malachite Slave, which can go get anything. And we already knew what was on top of my deck. It was Mary plus 20 Shekels plus Son of God. So my turn 1 is not going to be, like, I'm probably not even going to attack at this point, because if I just attack with Mary, I can reserve something, but Mary's just going to get blocked and died. So the best we can do is just scout out a little bit more information from their hand. We see Second Coming, we see Ride On, we see 3 Woes, we see a bunch of good enhancements, and we see a Scattered Sheep. The opponent has everything they need to like close out this game, it feels like. We just gotta like figure out how to string together some blocks and give us some time to catch up. But this defense isn't built to play the long game. Like the best thing I can do is block, shuffle with my Lost Souls, and then try to soul drought them. But that's going to be hard to do in the presence of Ends of the Earth plus Lost Souls. So I can Son of God Lost Souls if I want to do that, and then negate Ends of the Earth somehow. So I'm just going to pass to them. I don't want to play my Mary because they have cards that can ban to Mary. All right, they get to pop their 4 drachma coin, which draws them 4 more cards. Lovely. All right, so if they attack me with Lazarus again, things are feeling a little bit better because I can just Christian Martyr Lazarus. Good seed. Okay, that is annoying. Good seed paired with Right On is very strong. They have the Woes, so Woman of Thebes isn't a good block because if I just block with Woman of Thebes, they can just play Woes to negate her. So Peter plus John coming in. Reveal Second Coming to toss it next. So that's a strong attack. So at least I have a decent block this turn. I could go the Rabishka, but he would toss the foreign horses, so I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to go Woman. Get to look at their hand. They have so many dominants. They have 6 good brigades in hand. So I get to draw the maximum here, which is 6, which is nice. Which is going to help me come back, but I definitely need to block this turn. I don't know how. I could go toss Swine Stampede, try to play Death of Unrighteous. But if I toss something, they can just play Ride On and play Authority of Christ. So I'm trying to figure out how can I prevent them from doing that. If I want to, do I want to, number one, I got to figure out if I want to commit to this. Okay, Ends of the Earth coming in again. Okay, there's Humble. I would have loved Humble last turn. A little bit too late for that now. Okay, they whiff. There's Mary. Good to know about. Get crowds now. All right, so I'm going to make a misplay here. I was so focused on trying to stop the Ride On that I forgot about Herod's Temple. So I'm going to make a misplay here by Christian martyring the Peter. I was wanting to at least force them to use their good seed here, because if I went Christian Martyr the Peter and then I toss Swine Stampede, it's still my initiative. I could play Death of Unrighteous, and so they'd have to do good seed out of Meek, and then. But yeah, I forgot about Herod's Temple here. This feels real bad. So first I'm going to toss one to John, then I'm just going to die because he does Herod's Temple stuff. So having no access to Swine Stampede is a big deal because I just drew Judas. And if I block with Judas against Ride On, that's like really good. But I'm throwing that all away right now. Yep, so some misplays. It happens. We're learning. We're learning. Still learning. We are still learning. Yep, I have to surrender the soul there. Kind of sheepishly. Now things are looking really bad. We didn't get to attack turn 1. They got 2 rescue attempts and they went first. So in order to win this game, I have to block them for every single block for the rest of the game, pretty much. And I have to also rescue every turn of the game now because they're going up 4 points here. Things are not looking good. Down 4-0. Yes. At least we get a big attack next turn. And we drew Peter's Curse. Would have loved to draw that last turn to strand Son of God and all their dominance in their hand. But now it's like at the point of the game where do I choose to activate Peter's Curse and try to get good blocks, or do I try to use my good dominance to break through and get some rescues in? So that's what I'm thinking about now. And I decide I just need to go for it. I just need to play my dominance, use Resurrection offensively. We can maybe try to hold out for a turn on the defense here, and then Peter's Curse can come up next turn if I manage to survive. But yeah, I don't know how likely that is. He's negating my neutrals with Akeem the Compiler. I'm just trying to figure out if I have any good blocks against Claudius, Goliath, Woman of Thebes, Deceiver, good attacks. Because even if I get rid of one of these with Mary, like Goliath will wreck me, Claudius will wreck me, Deceiver will wreck me. So first things first, let's get rid of Humble. Get some points on the board here. Second Coming to get back Son of God. All right, who are we going to kill? I don't know. We don't have any answers to Woman of Thebes right now, so I guess we'll just get rid of her. And then I get to get rid of a star card from reserve. I don't think I'm breaking through this turn, so I need to figure out a way to block one more turn. So I'll get Hezron, which is really good against clay decks because they can just bounce their lone clay attacker, which is great. So it's going to be a miracle if we can break through this turn. We got lots of hand protection, which is something. Before he blocks, I'm going to play Resurrection. To play around Goliath, I'm not going to add John to battle. I'm going to grab Res Revealer, so I can just push with Res Revealer. We don't want to get auto-blocked by Goliath here. And then so retrospectively, I should have hit Deceiver off of Mary, because anybody I do hit with Mary, they can just block with Deceiver. So plus Deceiver can grab something from their deck or reserve that I don't know about. And plus if I ban a Lazarus, I can negate Women of Thebes. So I think here, if I actually get rid of Deceiver, like I think their best block is Claudius plus Herod's Temple. And yeah, I don't think I had enough to toss down Claudius. So they still would have got the block anyways, I think. But at least I drew a bunch of cards here. We didn't draw our Star of Bethlehem, and we didn't draw 3 Woes. 3 Woes would have helped us break through here. Star of Bethlehem would have been nice. And there's Deceiver to Foreign Wives. Yeah, that's a good block against C. Another reason why I should have taken Deceiver. So we're playing pretty loose today. We're not playing perfectly. Yeah, that's okay. I think at some point I feel just a little defeated after falling so far behind, but I think it's important just to try and keep a clean mental and just say, like, what can I do to try and rescue this turn, and what can I do to try and block next turn, and not try to get super overwhelmed. So something that I need to block is I need Star Bethlehem. It's going to help me block. And I wish there was a way to get 3 Woes out of my deck. I just don't know. If we had John, we could use Star Bethlehem to use our star ability, top deck it, and draw it. But since we got Res Revealer, that's not really an option right now. I haven't played my territory class card. I can play Angelic Guidance. Gotta remind myself what I need to beat or I need to block like three turns in a row. It's just like right on into Authority of Christ or right on into Generous Giving into Authority of Christ is so good. The thing about right on, like let's say I did go for, I did the Rabishka into Horses into Death of Unrighteous. Like that's a good block, right? Well, what they can do after that is they can play right on. They can play the mode where they play a enhancement, and they can do interrupt the battle, draw 3 cards, and then play authority. So interrupt the battle interrupts the last thing I did. So Death of Unrighteous was the last card played. And even though it's like not in battle, it still like kind of undoes it, I'm guessing. I think that works. I think if opponent plays Death of Unrighteous, shuffles away, you can go right on, interrupt the battle, draw 3 Authority of Christ, and blow them up and prevent them from doing it. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments about that. The reason I know about that is because I had watched a VOD, somebody at Nationals made that play. It might have even been like Josh or Jeremy Chambers or I don't remember who it was, but somebody blocked with the Herod's Executioner. They went interrupt the battle, draw 2 cards, play Feudal Inquisition, and like that was the block, right? That was over. But they call it Judge over, and I guess the guy talks about it, and he asks, "Can I play right on, interrupt the battle?" Like with Blood of the Lamb or something, and then play my battle winner. And apparently that worked. And so you got the attack. So Rhydon is so good in clay decks. Because if that's true, if that works against that, then that would work against Women of Thebes. That would work against so many things. All right. So I got to figure out how to block this turn in order to have a remote chance of winning. It was already bad enough I wasn't able to break through again on my second turn. I have to fend him off. I basically have to block him 3 turns in a row. I don't know if I have the tools to do that. There's John coming in. It's this really smart attack from him because he knows I have Star Bethlehem and Hezron. And so if he just attacked with a lone meek clay hero, then I could have just played Hezron or played Star Bethlehem, activate Hezron here. So like, what do I do against John? If I block, he can just go Good Seed, discard Good Seed, add somebody battle, play Authority Christ, you know? And I can't go my Rabishka because he's tossing the next. I don't have access to Woes to negate the toss next. So it's looking like really bad. I could go Malachite Slave into Queen Taffy's negate Good Seed, but then he's tossing the next, so I don't have a good block besides that. Yeah, I just don't know if I can block here. Maybe I had to try and go like Star Bethlehem, dig for Woes, and try to Rabishka this guy. But I made a misplay here. I made another misplay. So something I thought might work is I did have Tubal Cain in my deck. So if I went Tubal Cain, exchange a card from my hand with a card in my reserve, I could go get Madness, and then Madness can go get rid of John, reserve John. But then he could have just good seeded and played right on anyways, so I don't know. But he also has a negate neutrals out, so that play his play's not even gonna work. He did have a stricken, but my deck in reserve is being protected. Yeah, if I had Deceiver, I could have gone Deceiver into Foreign Wives, or like Glory of the Lord into Deceiver into Foreign Wives, so that would have been a good block. But yeah, just kind of blundering today. There's the Good Seed, there's Matthew, and there is the Authority of Christ. So yeah, that's going to do it. I wasn't able to block for 4 turns, let alone 1. And again, the reason why I didn't block with Judas is I didn't have a demon to ban to, and Woman of Thebes, he had a Woes for that. So I'm just playing Star, just for fun. I know I don't have any outs, but in theory, if I was playing another Battle Dominant, I could like play that, kill one guy, Hezron, bounce another guy. So yeah, that's the game. It didn't work out at all. I'm curious to see what would have happened if he didn't know what was in my hand at the beginning of the game, and also if I had gotten a little bit better turn 1 draw. But yeah, opponent's deck just did really well, played really tightly, and I lost. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye.